From downtown Scranton, this is Northeast Current. WQPX invites you to join us as we explore public affairs, current events, and arts and culture in northeastern and central Pennsylvania. Now, let's meet today's guests on Northeast Current.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Northeast Current. I'm Charlesworth, your host. We have the distinct pleasure today of meeting with the president of the Northeast Regional Cancer Institute, Karen Saunders. Karen, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Listen, we want to talk about your program that's coming up. It's called Casual Day.
Yes, it is.
Casual is an acronym.
I'll say it.
And you'll say it for us.
Colon cancer awareness saves unlimited adult lives.
Outstanding.
So the idea for the program came from that name of Casual, and it's a dress-down event. This will be the 12th year here in Northeast Pennsylvania for the event, and it's about raising awareness to be screened for colon cancer.
And that date is?
The Casual Day is March 26th.
March 26th. That's a Thursday.
Right.
Okay, and you're right now you're trying to get employers to talk to their employees about the Casual Day. And
That's
how
right.
are you going about doing that?
That's right. We are in the phase, and that's why when we were talking about dates, I wanted to mention the other one, which is March 12th. That's the deadline for ordering T-shirts.
Okay.
So yes, we are hoping that companies, any kind of organization, schools, healthcare facilities, anyone can sign up. We're looking for one person to be a team captain. They would go to our website, which is cancernep.org, and they can sign up to be a team captain. The responsibility of that is then to take orders for our $15 T-shirts and our $5 flu colon cancer awareness pins, and to participate in this event in that way.
Now, as you said, this is the 12th year that you're conducting this program. In the past, how many businesses in what area have taken part in this Casual?
The first year, I'm glad that you asked there because it really is truly amazing and goes to the generosity of people in the area. The first year, these T-shirts were folded and hand-tied with grosgrain ribbons in the kitchen of the founder, Mara Stayback, along with her brother, Mike Moran, in her kitchen. It has grown so that last year we had over 300 team captains, 8,000 participants, and we sold 5,300 of these T-shirts. So,
wow.
It's getting bigger.
And it does encompass a fairly decent-sized area.
That's right. The services of the Cancer Institute extend to 7 of the regional counties right near us here.
Okay. Should we name them?
Should we name them? I was just going to say. Luzerne, Lackawanna, Wayne and Wyoming, Susquehanna, Pike, and who did I forget?
It's too late now.
It's too late. I'll think of it in a minute.
If we think of it, we'll bring it up. I didn't mean to put you on the spot there, but we joked about it earlier.
Right.
It's all right. Let's talk about colon cancer. Started 12 years ago.
This event did, yes.
And you know,
It started because
what got the program going?
Well, the event, as I said, Helen Phillips was the mother of Mara and Mike. And unfortunately, she died in her 50s of colon cancer. And she had not been screened when she turned 50. And her family was hoping to save other families from going through this sadness, and they wanted to maintain her memory. At the same time, they came to the Northeast Regional Cancer Institute, and the Cancer Institute does cancer surveillance. In other words, they maintain and observe data that's available on the incidence and mortality rates of cancer. And we knew that the cancer incidence and mortality rates are higher here in Northeast Pennsylvania for colon cancer. So together with preserving Helen Phillips' memory and getting the message out to the people that live here in our region to get screened, it was a perfect combination of both a fundraiser for the Cancer Institute and an awareness campaign for the area.
So it's safe to say that the more people that have cancer screening done, the greater their chances of survival.
Yes. People do not have to die from colon cancer. That's the message.
And I can attest to that. I have a family history of colorectal cancer, and my mother had colorectal cancer, and as soon as I turned 50, which seems to be, you know, a guideline.
That is.
Every 2 years since I turned 50, and that was just a year and a half ago, I think it was.
Right.
Not a little longer than that, but every 2
I'm
years.
in the category too.
Every 2 years, I get the
That's
screening.
good. And it's not that bad. Our spokesperson from last year described it as having a day off from work. Being on a diet and a day off from work. What's so bad about that, really?
What a diet it is. Yes, it's a little uncomfortable, but I mean it's nothing that anyone should be afraid of.
No, not at all.
And the rewards for doing it.
Right.
You know.
Right. Because generally speaking, there aren't any symptoms for colon cancer until it's progressed to a further stage. So that's why this screening becomes very, very important. The proceeds from this event to the point of screening helps the Cancer Institute not only with educational programs to talk about screening, but we have a navigation program where we serve low-income, un- and underinsured, and we help this target population to get screened. We pay for screening. So we work with some of the area clinics and providers in the area. We get the data from them for patients that are not up to date on their screening, and we contact those people and work with them, which is one way, or the general public could call the Cancer Institute and request this information or request our assistance in getting screened. So it's a wonderful program. Not only do we follow through on the screenings, but provide information of any kind. The Cancer Institute is a resource for caregivers, for people diagnosed with cancer, or people that hopefully don't have cancer but have questions about being screened.
Now there are non-invasive forms of screening also.
Yes.
And you know, I'm no medical expert. I just know that at 50,
That's right.
they said you got to go.
That's right.
But is there any recommendations for earlier screening? You know, perhaps using the non-invasive form of screening and.
Well, at any age, that as a matter of fact, the fecal occult testing it's a kit, and we can mail it to your home, and you can do it in the privacy of your home, and then you mail it into a lab, and we would monitor. So that's a completely non-invasive way to test for colon cancer, but that doesn't have. That's not really age-related. Regarding age, you really need to talk to your doctor if there is a family history, or if you have other risk factors that would cause you to need to be screened earlier. That's something that people would talk to their physician about. But at any age, there are, other than the colonoscopy, there are other procedures that you can be tested.
Yeah, it's simple. It's not time-consuming.
Not
you know,
painful.
it's worth a while to get it done. Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. Now
Right.
the shirts.
Yes. This year's color, we change the color every year, and this year is cardinal red. So on the front of the shirt is our logo and the casual day logo and ribbon.
And that's what the pin looks like.
Yes, it's a blue metal pin that you can wear on your lapel. Some companies can't dress down. Their organization or their culture won't allow them to dress down. So you can still participate on the 26th by wearing a pin. And on the back of the t-shirts are our wonderful sponsors. We have some in-kind sponsors and very generous sponsors from all different levels, and we could not have grown this event to the extent that it is without them. So we...
And if people out there in the audience would like to get these shirts and they don't work for a company that has a team captain in there, how do they get a shirt or a pin?
You can order individual shirts and pins or take the project on yourself by going to our website, cancernepa.org, or you can call the Cancer Institute. 570-941-7984 is the number. We can take orders by phone or we can take them from the registering on our website. But you have to do it by March 12th.
By March 12th.
Yes.
Now, this is a very worthwhile program, and I applaud you for all that you do. Could you tell us a little bit more about the Northeast Cancer Institute then?
Yes, the Northeast Regional Cancer Institute is almost 25 years old. It started in 1991 as a collaboration of area physicians and healthcare administrators seeing the need to collaborate in the area of cancer care. And the Cancer Institute is a nonprofit 501c3. We are a regional community-based organization. We focus our efforts in 3 areas: cancer surveillance, as I mentioned, cancer registry. Cancer is a reportable disease to the state. So our certified cancer registrars help to collect that data from area providers and reports to the state. And then our community and patient awareness outreach, both for healthcare providers, to the general public, and certainly to patients that have cancer and their caregivers.
One location or regional locations?
We have 2 locations. We
locations?
have our main office is in Scranton on Jefferson Avenue, and we do have a Wilkes-Barre office as well on North Franklin Avenue.
Okay, getting back to Casual Day, is there anything else that you think that we need to talk about?
Well, I'd just like to thank our team captains. I wanted to thank the sponsors, and I do want to thank the team captains. As I mentioned earlier, over 300 of them. They do the heavy work. They take orders and they distribute the shirts and then send the money afterwards. So it has become a fun event. And but it does take some work on their part. So I wanted to thank all of our team captains as well. And just offer, many people only know the Cancer Institute through this event, so, which is wonderful because we're available all year long to answer questions on colon cancer or any other of a number of topics.
Well, we'd like to thank Karen Saunders for being with us today and talking to us about Casual Day. We hope that you in the audience would like to help participate by purchasing t-shirts or pins. And we're going to take a break now, and we'll be right back.
Welcome back into Northeast Current on ION TV. My name is Kate Moss, and Katie Rain Hill, 19, was in the process of transitioning from male to female when she met Arin Andrews, 18, who was undergoing his own transformation from female to male. While supporting each other through these major life changes, the 2 teens fell in love. Now the former couple shares their stories in 2 first-of-their-kind separate memoirs, Some Assembly Required and Rethinking Normal. The teens join us today via satellite as they are promoting their books. Arin, Katie, welcome to the show. Arin, talk to our viewers about your journey and writing the book Some Assembly Required.
Yeah, absolutely. My book's called Some Assembly Required, and it's kind of like getting a toy and having to assemble it. And you're kind of disappointed, you're a little kid, you don't want to put it together. And that's kind of like my story, and that's how it goes. My book's about me transitioning and coming to realization and growing up in Oklahoma as a transgender individual, and then ultimately leading to where we are today, modeling for Barney's and doing crazy things like this, talking about our story.
Katie, it's your turn. Talk about the book Rethinking Normal and why you decided to write it.
Yeah, well, gender and sexuality, being transgendered, is complex. And not, I mean, we're in an informational golden age about it right now, but there's still a lot of misconceptions surrounding it, what it means to be transgendered, what is life like. And a lot of people don't really have the information out there to go and look it up and to understand it. So these books are kind of this very informal way of just retelling our lives in the perspective of a transgendered person, to see that we're just normal people. And my book is about rethinking normal, saying that there's no such thing. There's no such thing as being different, as being normal. We are all just people trying to get through life. And I basically just wanted to put out the misconceptions about being transgendered in my book and say, hey, this isn't right. And this is for A, B, C, and D. And I tell stories and through my own life experience. And at the same time, I want to educate people who aren't in the LGBT community to go out, learn about it, to try to become more accepting and understanding of what it means to be in the LGBT community.
Katie, tell us about the feedback you got from the book by family, friends, and the community.
Well, I don't want to brag, but so far it's been great. I've gotten a lot of people who have emailed me and Facebook messaged me saying, you know, this is really helpful. I feel like this can educate and inspire a lot of people, which is the whole point why I wrote the book, why we wrote the book, because we wanted to make a difference in at least one person's life. And so far, Arin and I both have gotten really positive feedback, and of course negative, but we have gotten a lot of people since the get-go of our relationship, since we started doing this, saying that we've helped them, and that's all that we really wanted.
I mean, I've gotten a lot of positive feedback from all of my family and all of my friends. And especially, I've been reading like some reviews and stuff because I like to see what other people think without me knowing that I'm reading it. And all of them were mainly pretty much positive. We've gotten a lot of crazy messages on Facebook, just like, you know, thank you for inspiring me or giving me this hope in my life. And I think that's what we were out for in the first place. So it's really incredible to see that kind of reaction from others.
Talk to our viewers about the fact that you are still great friends while working on this project together.
Yeah, I mean, we have always had this great connection, and I don't think there's anyone who's ever going to be in my life again who is going to quite get me like Arin has. And, you know, we've always been there for each other, been through our whole transition, and we're always going to stay there. We're always going to be there. And we're at different chapters in our life. We both go to college. He goes to a different college. We're like whole towns away, so we don't get to see each other much, but we still do this together. We still try to talk to each other, and I think we're always just going to be there. We're always going to be friends.
Katie, tell us what's going on in your life and where you see yourself in 5 years.
Well, it's really funny because, I mean, before I had my surgery, I didn't know where I was going to go in my life. I said, well, I mean, before my surgery, I said, yes, what's your goal? I want to get a surgery. I want to be the woman that I always wanted to be. And then once I got it, I said, oh, man, what now? What am I supposed to do? And now I go to college. I am a junior, so I'm almost done with my undergraduate. And then I have to juggle friends and family members and my career and my future. So instead of dealing with transgender problems, I guess you could say before, now I'm just a normal person. And I bet I could say the same for Arin. We are just trying to live our lives like everybody else. But that's the future. I don't know. It's a total mystery.
Arin, tell us about your life and your 5-year plan.
Oh man, where do I see myself in 5 years? That's a good question. Your guess is as good as mine because I'm like a typical teenager. I'll change my mind every day on what I want to do for the rest of my life. So I'm just a freshman in college, so I'm getting my basics out of the way. So frankly, I have no clue where I'm going to be in 5 years. But where I am right now, I am sharing my story and hopefully giving some positive change and hope to others. And that's all I got right now. And we're just doing these kind of things and doing media stuff and sharing our stories. And hopefully that'll lead to other and bigger and greater things.
What's the touring and the book signing been like?
Well, we have to go to Austin and Maryland,
Yeah,
and
we're doing a couple book conferences for librarians and stuff, kind of sharing different ways to help support transgender people in school and high school and stuff. So we're kind of looking at doing some of that stuff here in the next couple of months, and that's what is on our schedule.
But plans always change. We'll probably have stuff come up all the time. But yeah, so right now we just have the small book tours, small book signings here and there. But hopefully a lot more is going to come in the future.
Any last-minute thoughts for our viewers?
You can buy our books anywhere books are sold. You can find us on Twitter and Facebook under Arin Andrews and Katie Rainhill.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us here on Northeast Current. This is Ion TV. My name is Kate Moss. We'll be right back. Welcome to Northeast Current on Ion TV. My name is Kate Moss, and today we are talking about hackers. Hackers are after our money, and it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Online security is a lot like a bank vault. It's really strong and it's really hard to break into. Hackers are all around us. Rather than trying to drill through the vault of online security, they know that it's a lot easier to steal the combination to the lock and open the door and just simply walk in. Passwords act like a seatbelt. They're your first line of defense, but it's good to have airbags for your protection. In the same way, you wouldn't stash all your savings in a mattress. You don't want to keep all your passwords in the same place either. Joining us today is Tom Kemp, CEO of Centrify, a software and cloud service device company that focuses on securing a person's identity. Tom, welcome into the show. Tom, what are we doing as Americans that are putting us at a higher risk?
Yes, so the first thing that we're doing is that my company did a recent survey and we found that consumers, 25% of consumers are actually sharing the same password across all their websites. And so the problem is that if a hacker or a bad guy breaks into one website and gets all the usernames and passwords, they'll try those same usernames and passwords across multiple websites. So if you use the same one, you run a big risk of being hacked across the board. The second problem that we found in our survey is that we found that 38% of users don't put a passcode on their mobile device. So if your phone gets lost or stolen, which is invariably going to happen, then you're at the risk of people getting into your email, your personal accounts, and even your work-related information, because we found about half the people use their personal devices to access corporate information.
What are some tips for our viewers to remember their passwords?
Yeah, so the reality is passwords are not going to go away. And so the key thing is not to share and have the same password across all your important websites. So my recommendation is, have some sort of theme. Like if you're an Eagles fan, use the word Eagles, and then for each website you visit, maybe the first letter of the website, append that to the word Eagles, and then have some unique number or code. So it makes it much more difficult for the actual hacker if they break into one website and get your username and password that they couldn't figure it out what your username and password is on another website as well.
How do we know if we've been hacked or my password has become jeopardized?
Yeah, that's a good question, because it's not like the hackers are going to call you up and tell you, hey, we've hacked you. So the first thing you need to do is check your financial websites that you use and see if there's been any funky transactions that have occurred. The second thing you can do is that listen to your friends and relatives and colleagues, and take note if they say, hey, I got this weird email from you that had me trying to click on this link as well. That could be a telltale sign that you've been hacked. And the third thing is there's actually a website called Have I Been Pawned, which is a website of it's a big database of all these websites that have been hacked, and the good guys have put together all the usernames and accounts. And you can go there and actually put your email address, and it'll tell you if you've actually had your account hacked in one of those websites. So that can be very helpful as well.
You mentioned personal devices, and that's where I do all of my banking, a lot of my bill paying. What about our work-related devices?
Well, yeah, the Centrify, my company, in this survey, we actually found that 50% of users use their personal devices for work-related information, and 38% of them don't put a PIN. So you are on the hook if something bad were to occur with your device accessing the corporate information. So at the very minimum, you should put a passcode on the actual device. And just like a passcode on your device or on your website, you should rotate them or change them relatively frequently, say every 30 to 60 days, just in case something were to happen. And then at least you've changed the key passcodes and passwords across your devices and websites.
Tell our viewers a little bit more about your company, Centrify.
Yeah, sure. So Centrify, we're a company that provides password management for businesses to give them single sign-on and try to help reduce the need and requirements to use passwords in a corporate setting. And so it's a great tool to give people single sign-on and avoid the issues having to do with managing passwords.
So most customers come to you after the fact, after the damage has been done?
Yeah, that's a big issue, because in the same survey, we actually found that consumers say that about 1/3 of consumers have actually said that they've had an identity theft type issue. So people have had the situation in which they have been hacked and they want to better protect their passwords, or they may be in a situation with their end users at these companies are just drowning in a sea of passwords, and they just have too many, and it's impacting productivity dramatically, and so they want to get it down so they just have fewer passwords that are more secure.
Any last thoughts before we close today?
No, I think you've hit on the major things. The key thing is, don't share the same password, put a pin on your phone, rotate your password, and most important, try to introduce strong passwords, ones that are not easily guessed, and I think that will actually help mitigate a lot of the risk in terms of doing online surfing as well as using the internet for transactions as well.
Tom, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us here on Northeast Current. This is Ion Television. Thank you so much for spending your morning with us. My name is Kate Moss. We'll see you next week. Arshel Giorgio, how do you say it? I can't say that name. I can't say the name. No, even I forgot how to say your last name. I was so bummed. I don't want to say that. Uno más. Whoa, central.
It's early.
Yeah, let me do that one again. I've been going to, never mind.